Whenever you're ready.
So this is my winter exhibition project 2015-2016 for the course of Crime and Punishment. Pretty much, I'll be going over the project, talk about some challenges, some good habits that I've encouraged from the project. If like something that I learned about this project, and if you guys have any questions towards it. So the task of the project was to come up with an audit for the big 6 concepts. So we had to just pick 3 out of 5 texts and take out pieces of evidence and encourage it to the word, how it connects. So that was pretty much what I did. Some challenges towards the beginning. Like I said, what I had accomplished so far in the unit project was detecting on how I was going to separate my evidence and how it was going to fall under each category of the big 6. Also, I had to observe from pictures from each text and use some of my thoughts and encourage that into the words. And midpoint of creating this project, I gained some knowledge from gathering evidence and text, and also gained strategies of how to annotate. I skipped something. Before that, the big 6 are crime, punishment, discipline, justice, control, and power. And some of the texts that I used were by Viktor Frankl, another one by a California prisoner. And these 2 on the bottom were just titles from an article. Crime, punishment, discipline, justice, control, and power. There's not really like a definition towards them because everybody interprets the words differently. So as a class, crime is like when you do something that you're not supposed to be doing and you're like convicted for it. Punishment is like when you pay the consequences for what you did. Discipline is the actions. Discipline is like towards the actions that you took to recover from the crime. Justice is like the overall, how you're gonna fix it, what are you gonna do, steps, things like that. Control is like somebody who's like in a higher position than you, or somebody, in this case like an adult, tends to control and like these pretty much when somebody who is pretty much in a higher position than you tells you what to do. And power is like when you have to obey somebody or something or a law. Some of these big 6 that I used towards my project was crime. One evidence that I used was this one by the California prisoner. It says the capitalistic parasite causes mass hunger, robbery, killing, and homelessness. This is a quote that I used. Another one was the body, according to the penalty, is caught up in a system of constraints, prohibitions, obligations, and prohibitions. Physical pain, the pain of the body itself, and no longer the constitute element of the penalty. This one's by the body of condemned. These are some pictures that I got towards from these articles. Another one of the big 6 is control. Control. Fundamentally, therefore, any man can, even under certain circumstances, decide what should become of him mentally and spiritually. This one was by Viktor Frankl. And then another one was too many obstacles, so many let their dreams die and fade away. The darkness of the capitalism consumes their soul before the flesh withers away by the California prisoners. Image of control. Another one is power. And some of these words, some of these quotes we could reuse towards, depending on how it works. So I reused the one of fundamentally, therefore any man can, even under such circumstances, decide what shall become of him mentally and spiritually. Another one was strength will develop by effort and practicing, but a powerful mind will cease when fear and doubt kicked in by California prisoner. And then these are another images that come from the word. Justice. For justice, a quote that I have is, an active life serves the purpose of giving the man opportunity to realize values in creative work, while a passive life of enjoyment affords him and the opportunity to obtain fulfillment in experiencing beauty, art, and nature, by Viktor Frankl. Also, the body as the major target of the penal repression disappeared by the body of condemned. And then these were some slight images that I used. Discipline. Discipline, the way in which a man accepts his fate and all the suffering it's entitled. The way in which he takes up his cross gives him ample opportunity, even under the most difficult circumstances, to add a deeper meaning to his life, by Viktor Frankl. And then these were some images that I got from the word, towards the word from the article. And the last is punishment. Punishment, even though conditions such as lack of sleep, insufficient food, and various mental stresses may suggest that the inmates were bound to react in certain ways. An excerpt from The Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And also, the cords has been tied so ends that they caused him indescribable pain, by the body of condemned. And then these are like the last of images that I got here. So pretty much what I did, so pretty much that's how I put up my project together, and I got this final. Some challenges that I had was I was undecided which evidence will go which word. So I had to like ask Ms. Raz and like see how she thinks of this, because how I said how people interpret each word differently. So I interpret some words differently, and I thought that some evidence belonged with certain words, but they didn't. So I had to like go back and forth and ask her, and then there was days that I had to stay for office hours and just sort of get it together or get my evidence together, and then to go back home and reflect on how I could have done better. And some, like has mentioned here about I gained strategies to annotate. When I had to annotate for each evidence, I had to go into deeper meaning, into like, is this really, like, does this really fall under this category, and things like that. So, questions?
What were your biggest takeaways?
I think putting the project together was like the biggest takeaway, because it was already like done, but also like the beginning was like I was excited about this project. I was like, oh yeah, since we've been talking about this for quite a few, and then like recently now I'm still in that course, so it was like if I could have changed something, I would elaborate more on each evidence or use more text from other sources, because we read a source from Hillary Clinton's speech. We did Jonestown. We watched this movie, the movie, and we watched. There was a movie that we watched, and it was about how they created this prison and how the prison worked, which can fall under the categories of how they controlled and powered their prison.